It is so good to be back on the island. In fact, as the American Airlines jet that I was on yesterday was flying here, I looked out the window and I could see the island beneath me. And I got a sense of excitement and almost a sense of pride to be back here, because you can't spend the amount of time that my team and I have had the privilege of spending here and not feel a connection to this island. In fact, as I got out of the airport and walked into the car, one of the security officers who's standing on the side of the stage now said to me, "Welcome home." And it sure feels like it. Mr. President, faculty and staff, students, and all you mamas and papas, congratulations. Congratulations. I will keep this brief because I remember being in your chair and the last thing I wanted to do was hear a commencement speaker that went too long. So we'll keep this short. You know, when we first landed on the island, I'll never forget about 72 hours later, laying in the hotel room, and we were waking up that morning because our first report was going to be on CBS this morning. And I remember the hotel, the Marriott there in Condado, vibrating. And I've covered numerous hurricanes over the course of my career, but I had never experienced that before. And as we walked outside and the storm made landfall and I was standing in front of the Marriott, I remember thinking the winds were some of the strongest winds that I had also experienced before. Never before had I experienced that. And then as the storm passed and we did our first report that night, I remember sitting down in the hotel conference room, and there were so many messages coming in of people on the mainland who were asking how their family was, of people who were at the hotel and had come and slipped a note under the door to see if we could help get information. And I did something I had never done before. I picked up my phone and I started talking, and I started posting, and we didn't stop. I come here before you today as a representative of what I believe is one of the most honorable professions in the world, and it is that of journalism. Each and every one of you, though you may not realize it, has shown my team and I the kind of love that I have never experienced on a story before. Usually how it works is you get to where you're going, you do the story, it airs on television, and you move on. In fact, in a way, my friends, I think some of us take journalism for granted. It's always been here. We think it's always going to be here. You don't necessarily have to pay for it, but it's a service that is offered. What coverage in Puerto Rico has taught me is that journalism can be the most honorable public service you can do. So many people will say to me, what has it been like for a Cajun from South Louisiana to go to Puerto Rico where he had never been before and meet Puerto Ricans? And I admit I had never met a Puerto Rican before, at least not one that I knew. And I say it this way, I respond like this. Being here has been an honor, and being able to tell the story of the Puerto Rican people has been a privilege. For the love that you and your family members have shown my team and I, what I feel is a sense of responsibility to not let you down. In many ways, journalism today, some will tell you, is under attack. But I want to remind you, over the last many decades and centuries, there have been trying times in journalism, trying times for truth. So many times people will say to me, "Thank you for being an advocate for Puerto Rico." And I have to be honest with you, it makes me feel a little uncomfortable because as a journalist, I'm not supposed to be an advocate for anyone, so to speak. But what I am is an advocate for the truth. And what needed to be told after Hurricane Maria was a hardcore, unapologetic, unafraid truth. And that's what we did. What I want to encourage you as you get ready to take the next step of your journey is to reflect on what you can do to be of service, not only to your island, but to your profession. So many of you here today, far smarter than I, will have an opportunity to change the world. And I would say to you this: look for the moments to be the most honorable essence of yourself. Because there was a moment where I was sitting in front of that phone in the hotel and just talking and saying everything we knew, where the hair looked bad and the bags were under the eyes and I was sleepy and I really wanted to go to bed, but I couldn't quit because it was too important to stop. You too are going to be given an opportunity in your career to change lives and do something that is a public service. Now, I know some of you will leave. You will go to the mainland. You will love it. Some of you will stay. And I would encourage you to remember two things. If you leave, come back often, because the humility of never forgetting where you came from is honorable. And also, if you go away, remember to give back something that will make the island better than when you left it. My friends, what I want to do with the love that you have shown my crew and I is not let you down. And this island perhaps has gotten more attention than ever before. I can't tell you how many people have walked up to me and said, "I've never seen Puerto Rico in the news as much as it is now." That is true. And it was a natural disaster that put Puerto Rico in the headlines. However, I would suggest to you that it's not in the headlines enough, and it is incumbent upon us, not just me as a reporter, but you as a member of the Puerto Rican public, to make sure that it stays in the news. Having said that, you don't have to pay for journalism. Sure, there are subscription fees for maybe the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, but if you come to cbsnews.com, you'll read it and watch it for free. If you watch it on CBSN right here on your phone, you'll get it for free. But I would challenge you to remember that as citizens of the world, it is our job to know what is going on. Because remember, you expected the rest of the world to watch what was happening in Puerto Rico and act. What is expected of you is to watch what is happening in the world and see how you can make a difference. It really rubs me the wrong way when I meet someone who is as talented as all of you here, who says, "I don't know what's going on in the world." Because if they don't know what's going on in the world, they don't know what happened in Puerto Rico. And if they don't know what happened in Puerto Rico because of the hurricane, they probably don't know what is happening right now in Turkey and in Toronto and in Los Angeles. Please promise me that you will pay attention to what is going on. You will be a consumer of the news, and you will be someone who gets involved in your community. I am reminded that as we go forward on this journey, and I remember what it was like to be in that chair, although this hat feels a little strange. It's been a while since I've worn one of these. I want to remind you to take care of yourself. You may feel young and invincible today. You all look really good. You all look really healthy. But I am reminded that over the course of my career, everyone has a story that if they told you, it would break your heart. Everyone has that story. Each and every one of you have a story that if I were to interview you, it would probably break mine. The story of what happened to the people of Puerto Rico has broken the hearts of the world. But the story of what the people of Puerto Rico have done for themselves with the help of the world has given us hope, my friends, that today is better, tomorrow will be better, and I just want you to know as I say goodbye today that you are loved. I hear it wherever I travel because people will come up to me and thank me for our coverage in Puerto Rico, and then they will say to me, I admit to you, I didn't know they were American citizens. I didn't know how many people lived on the island, and I didn't know how much they need. That's not the statement of someone trying to advocate for an island. It's the statement of a journalist who has a responsibility to tell the truth, and that is the truth. And the story of Puerto Rico deserves the same kind of coverage as every other story. And from us, you will get that. Congratulations. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the welcome.